You're back.
We're on?
You're on now? Yep.
What the fuck's going on? Welcome to class in session. Turns out today was a fuck of a lot better than last Tuesday. Yeah. Last Tuesday I woke up a little disgruntled. I was thinking, fuck man, it's like, it may be the last show. But
yeah, but this morning you woke up just gruntled, not disgruntled.
No, this morning I woke up ungruntled.
Ungruntled. Oh,
yes, I was very ungruntled when I woke up this morning.
That's good.
Yeah, fucking something I do once a year. I get to smoke this fucking wicked hash. It's every time I see this guy, I give him a big hug because what he gave me it's unprecedented. So I had the good fortune of meeting this anonymous person, old school guy. Now he did some very cool, serious things in the 70s and 80s, kind of like Howard Marks type stuff. And so he tells me about this hash. So there's some hash that circulated when I was a kid that I was like, I grew up on it. It's like I have such fond memories of smoking it. Now, talking about this hash, and he tells me way more than I knew about it. So he tells me that it was an Afghani mixed with a Pakistani, mixed in Pakistan. But what they do over there is they take their hash and they bury it in clay urns in the sand, and they just let it sit there for like 5 to 7 years. Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah. So this hash I think entered Canada in like 1982ish, maybe 1984, something like that. He tells me that it had been buried for 7 years before they even bothered pressing it. So who knows how long it had been sitting after it was pressed. So I'm estimating, even if we take from 1984 and we count back, 7 years, we're still at 1977. Which puts it at 36 years old.
Whoa.
This hash may be close to as old as I am. It could be like, I'm not sure, but it's over 30 years old. I know that for sure. And it's fucking phenomenal. So this morning before I jumped in the cab, I took a quick rip of it. I filmed it. I'll show you guys a little bit of it in a while. But I took a quick rip of it, and I was so vibed out. I was like fumbling, dropping things just off of one hoot. I was speedy and racy and fucking awesome stuff. So I just thought I'd share that story with you. It was fun. We're gonna play some music right now. We're gonna play a My Bloody Valentine tune, and this was off. I think it's their first EP. Yeah, most of you guys don't know who they are, probably, but they're kind of came out of the same genre as Jesus and Mary Chain and a lot of those really sludgy, kind of weird, heroined out pop bands. So this one's called You Made Me Realize. Because when I was putting the show together, I realized how fucking much deeper the world conspiracy goes than I even first fathomed. So, yeah, this is You Made Me Realize, My Bloody Valentine.
But
All right, we're back. So, I don't know if it was last week or the week before, but I really spanked Eden for that root beer kush.
Yeah. It was, I can't remember if it was last week or the week before.
I can't remember either, but the other day, Enrico and I were invited over to their vapor lounge. They've got a full medical vapor lounge that you have to be a card holder to get in. And it's a really, really cool spot. It's just over on Pender in the upstairs. So from the street, you can't see it at all. It just looks like an empty art studio. But upstairs, it's pretty rockin'. And I gotta say, you know, these guys, they're a really fucking, really, really good crew. And I put it on Keegan. I was like, I was gonna bring some root beer kush and make you take a bong toke. And he goes, oh, fuck, I love root beer kush. So even their staff stands behind the product. I don't approve of it. I think it's a bad product, but they have a lot of really good products. I got to sample some Master Kush. It's on under the name MK, and it's really like holy fuck. It was really, really good. So one of the things that they're gaining a lot of reputation for is having some of the finest grade solvent extract that's available, and I'm really happy that. There are some people practicing quality control in the solvent industry, and Eden and the people that are giving them their extracts, they're really leading the way in setting a precedent on quality solvent extracts. So I want to commend them on that. If you do shop there, I would suggest the Cannatonic butter. It's fucking like, it's really good. Like they have products that are made with research grade 3.8, or I'm not sure if it's 3.8 or 4.0. Pretty sure it's 3.8 N-butane. And really, really, really top-notch extracts. So one of the things that we did at the Kush Cup is I had a whole lot of bubble hash, and we did a dab from the slab. And to the best of my knowledge and Enrico's knowledge, and I think Keegan's knowledge, we talked about it a little bit, there wasn't a dab from the slab before that. So we took a big chunk of hash and we just did it right in the tie nail. And then later that night we did a full like dab from the slab with their butane extract. So I guess Enrico was talking to them about whatever they were talking about, but they invited us down to shoot a video. And this is at Eden, and this is a dab from the slab. And this goes out to all the staff at Eden. Thanks a lot. You guys were more than generous and very cordial and, you know, very welcoming. You got a really good environment over there. I don't like your root beer kush. I don't think you should sell it. I stand by that, but you guys are all right. So, yeah, this is a dab from the slab, the sequel. And this is for everybody out there that enjoys this kind of thing, and everybody at Fuck Combustion. And yeah, here we go. Hey, what the fuck's happening, motherfuckers? This is Al the Alchemist with class in session. We're here at the Eden Medical Vapor Lounge, a new place that's opened up here in Vancouver. Yeah, and we're gonna do a dab from the slab. Everybody knows I don't rock extracts, but these guys got some extracts that are made with research grade solvents. We'll show the this is made with regular butane, winterized. This is made with 3.8 N-butane. This is Jack Herrera, and that is also made with 3.8 N-butane. And this is Cannatonic. That's what I'm going to be doing the dab of, is the Cannatonic. Now I rocked one of these dabs from the slab at the Kush Cup. Well, I did a bunch. I did a bunch of hash ones, but of the extract of the oil, I did that. No, it's all good, bro. And then the other day, Enrico and I did one over at the Sublipad at the headquarters there, and today I got invited over here to do one of these fine fuckers.
This is a hell of a treat because I remember last time we did a dab from the slab, and actually I think that a dab from the slab started with the three of us. And the Fabergé, what's his name? Yeah.
With Jimmy.
With Jimmy, yes.
Bartender's over here.
Yes, yes.
The Hastings spot.
Yes.
So yeah, he's got the fab, and we love doing dabs from the slab. It's the best way to medicate.
Yeah, it really is.
That the four of us together at the Kush Cup this year was the first time.
Definitely started the trend on that day.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, because we had that huge slab of hash, and that was like in the afternoon.
Giant slab of the Kaya Special Haze.
Yeah.
Ridiculous time.
Oh, yeah.
I died 3 times in 14 seconds. It was amazing.
All right. Well, I'm gonna do a dab from this fucking thing.
Woo! I can't wait to watch you die, man.
Now I just woke up from a nap, so the first one might be a warm-up hit. We'll see. Take some tea right now. All right. Who wants to engineer this?
Keegan's gonna be the one holding the slab. He's the slab holder, the slab bearer, the bearer of the slab.
So if I'm doing this, if I'm doing that, that means I haven't hit my limit yet. When I do that, that means I'm done.
All right. First slab up, catatonic.
All right, motherfuckers. I'm gonna do my best. Here goes.
Bombs away.
Oh yeah. I sit here. Be easier for me. Sorry about that.
Oh! A dragon is born!
Wow. That's a serious dab. I would consider this one a failure.
Is that your first failure?
That's my first failure.
Wow.
Wow.
Wow, Alex.
That's fucking awesome.
What strain is it?
It's catatonic.
It's just still going.
Yeah, that was a good one. A failure nonetheless, but wow. My body temperature is rising right now. I got a little bit of sweat going on the back of my neck. I can feel my cheeks are pretty flushed. I'm not choked out or anything. This thing fucking rocks. Have we done that? Have we done that at a super high temperature, like the 900 degrees that things get to, or 1200 degrees things get to with a torch? I really believe I would be on the floor choking my ass off right now. But because of the way this hits, this kind of, it gives a gentle boil. Now with that gentle boil, you're not damaging the cannabinoids that are there. You're not doing that massive incineration. You're gently boiling off, just like a volcano, kind of on a lower temperature. Definitely a more terpenous hit that really tasted a lot like catatonic. Fucking hey, brother, thanks a lot, man. No problem.
It's turn to get pain. All right.
It's your turn.
So you wanted to go with that slab, right? Or put that under. You want me to move it away?
Yeah, move it away so we don't drip into the toilet.
Huh? In a second, I'm sure. It's his material.
All right.
That's probably like.
So Keegan's up next. He's doing the, what is it?
Blue Dynamite.
Blue Dynamite.
Dynamite. Afghani times blueberries. Very, very nice medical strain.
All right.
Oh yeah. Keep going, Keegan. Oh yeah. Damn. Oh yeah.
That double wedding cake hits nice, eh? Look at the percolation going on.
Damn.
It's the gift that just keeps giving.
It really is. Now that's still boiling off,
I still gotta go, my man.
as you can see. What? Yeah.
Oh, that's all reclaiming. Not right now, yes? Okay. Yeah. Stay too long in there.
All right.
I'm making it
That
up.
was a good rip, brotder.
Want to take this?
Enrico's up next.
I need just a little scraper here.
Yeah.
I think now we need a. Sorry about your ears. All right, subculture. This is where I die. I am gonna use the dynamite
Only to be born again.
and this at the same time.
Oh, nice. Doubles.
Jack Arrow and blue dynamite. Whoop, get a piece. I'm gonna put that back there so don't drop it. Y'all ready?
I didn't know that was an option. I might have to do a second. Yeah. You can't be tapping out, Rico. Nice. Good one, brother.
How you feel, Keegan?
Good one. He's speechless.
Subculture, thanks for being part of this. Thanks for you, Keegan, for having us today.
Any
Fucking
day.
awesome.
Anytime.
Thank you, Al, for killing yourself with me.
Anytime and all the time, brother.
Remember Eden? Society, Medical Society, right?
Medicinal Society.
Medicinal Society. You need your card, but once you're in here, you're in heaven.
Come get your card, come get medicated.
You keep on subbing in now.
All right, that's that. We're out, motherfuckers.
All right. So, as you can see, that rip I did was kind of a failure. So I redeemed myself, I feel, a little bit later. We made another video because,
Do you want me to set that one up too?
in a little while, we were so fucking stoned that the whole, like, Enrico wanted to record this thing for fuck combustion. And so the whole 9-minute video, it wasn't recording on his camera. So we had to do that round again, a whole second time, man. Holy fuck! It was a pretty powerful session for 2 hoots each. So yeah, that leads us to our next thing. We made some pretty nice fucking vapor trails in that lounge. So I wanted to educate you guys on what's going on with chemtrails. There's a lot of very bad shit happening. They're spraying some diabolical stuff in the environment, like lithium and all kinds of other things. I've rounded up quite a few videos. Some have a little bit of religious connotations because of the fundamentalists that made the videos. But they're all pretty accurate with what they're talking about. None of the information in there is inaccurate. It's all dead on. So this is the first one. This is chemtrails. What are they and what you can do?
When my kids were little, I used to read to them from Alice in Wonderland. And I remember we learned that the Mad Hatter was mad because it represented hatters of the time, and that apparently the guys who made hats used mercury to turn the fur into felt, and they would breathe the mercury, and it would cause brain damage, and hence the Mad Hatter. And that was in the 70s and 80s that I had my young kids, and I at the same time was learning that we were supposed to avoid using aluminum pots and pans because there was apparently a connection to autism. So that was the first time for me that I made any connection between heavy metals and human health. And then a few years ago, I learned that there was an unnatural amount of aluminum in the soil, and that there was a program spraying aluminum and other heavy metals up into the atmosphere, and so I wanted to check it out. And that's the first way that chemtrails showed up for me. Basically, chemtrails is a geoengineering program where airplanes fly at high altitudes and they spray chemicals into the atmosphere, including aluminum, barium, and strontium. And then those metals fall to the ground and they land in our bodies, on the soil, in our trees, in our food, and in our water. Many people confuse chemtrails with the normal jet contrails. The difference is that the normal jet contrails actually dissipate within minutes, while the heavy metals in the chemtrails cause those trails to persist for hours. And it's not a hypothetical thing. There are 32 states that already have legislation that's related to weather modification. The U.S. agencies that are documented to be involved in it include the U.S. Air Force, the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, the U.S. Department of the Interior, the National Science Foundation, and I know China boasted about using cloud seeding and weather changing before the 2008 Olympics in order to keep the opening ceremony dry. So that this is happening is completely documented. It's just that you have to know where to look because it's not talked about on mainstream weather reports. And this is where it gets controversial. And it's kind of weird because even though it's factual that there are metals in the atmosphere and factual that those metals are falling to the ground, when you acknowledge that or question the legitimacy or the legality or the safety or the morality, it becomes controversial. And really, that's sad because if you're questioning something that has such major impact on us and on future generations and on our planet, it seems to me that it should be one of the most natural and encouraged parts of life and education. So if you're not educated about this issue, I encourage you to do some basic research, and I've put some links at the bottom of this blog to help make that easy. I personally don't know anybody who is informed who isn't concerned, although the range of concerns is vast. For some, it might be that they think that this is a benevolent weather modification program, like putting snow on ski slopes in a bad season, but that it's inadvertently having some negative health impacts. Somebody else might think that the so-called solar radiation management is backfiring because the supposed idea is that you blanket the sky with these heavy metals and it reflects the sun back to itself. However, it's also creating a blanket and trapping the heat in, and so they are concerned about that. Somebody else might think that it's a corporate agenda to get an upper hand on commodities trading by being able to control and therefore predict the weather. And when you realize that 80% of the global economy is impacted by weather, that would certainly give someone an upper hand. Somebody else might just think it's a very sinister plan to sicken people and further control our food supply. The point is that there are any number of concerns no matter what belief system motivates you. And that's significant because I think it both validates the range of dangers and at the same time it informs what we can do about it. Because even for those of us who are convinced that we have a problem, our motivations and concerns vary, and that means that our strategies for engagement also have to vary. So if you want to get engaged in this issue, and I hope you do, I recommend that you first identify what part of this most concerns you. What is your particular passion? Because what we notice is that if each of us is doing the part that we're most naturally passionate about, we can sustain our efforts, we don't burn out, and it turns out somebody else wants to do a part that you don't want to do. And you can check that out at thrivemovement.com on the Solutions Hub. There are tools there to explore what other people are doing and also to explore your own purpose and passion. So currently at thrivemovement.com, we're getting the money and the infrastructure together to create a more enhanced Solutions Hub that's going to make it easier to share best practices globally, to share data and strategies and successes in order to really pull this together and focus on this issue effectively. Meanwhile, you can go to the Solutions Hub, you can find if there's a group in your area working on chemtrails. I went yesterday, there were over 60 devoted to this issue. And you can be doing the homework that we're going to need to have be done when we launch what we're going to do, a webinar, a global webinar, taking on this issue that really shows how to do whole systems problem solving so that you're doing your part, someone else is doing their part, and it turns out that all the sectors are covered. So here are some things that you could be focused on right now, and you can come up with others on your own. You could map out the whole chemtrail network and see who's doing what. You could research the most credible information on what companies are supplying the planes, what chemicals have been identified, what kind of related legislation is there, who's got the patents on the solar radiation management. You could check out the health impacts on humans, on the soil, on food, on water. You could unpack the futures forecasting and commodities trading and figure out who's winning in that market and do they have any connections to the planes or to the chemicals. You could look into what treaties address international toxic spraying. You could draw a poster that would help highlight the issue. You could write a song like Skull did. You could, if you have a high-powered camera, take pictures. You can share the app at the bottom of this blog. If you're a lawyer, figure out what we're going to be needing for a class action lawsuit. You can contribute money to the people and organizations whose work you most value in this. You can share this blog. You can add to the list and post it. The point is, there's something that you can do that we need done. I'm confident that we can stop chemtrails. We need to get informed. We need to communicate and coordinate with each other. We need to be organized, and we need to act effectively. We're going to do what we can at thrivemovement.com to facilitate that. And in the meantime, do whatever it is that concerns you most. It doesn't matter how much that's different from what concerns somebody else. It's that we're all concerned that unites us. So do your part, share what you learn, and keep looking up. Thanks.
We'll bring it back. Videos now. You're back.
All right, so that's kind of a basic breakdown. Things you can do, things to look for. We're going to get a little more in depth. How heavy this shit can get. So I think we're going to play this. You got the next one queued up? Yeah, let's just go right into this next one. So this is another video I found that blew my mind. I mean, really, all you got to do, you don't even need to watch this show. You can just go to YouTube and punch in chemtrails and just watch a whole fucking shitload of videos there. I've just compiled a few of the ones that I thought had some pretty compelling information and were like, they left me with a sick feeling. Some of them didn't really leave me with a sick feeling, but these ones did. So, here's the next one, and I'm going to vape some Congolese and try to counteract the chemtrails with my own chemtrails. So that's one thing you can do is if you have access to just like swag, dirty cannabis seed, like not even like, just like whatever, hermaphrodite fucking outdoor bag seed even, it doesn't matter. Go to every park, every fucking place you can find and start spreading seeds as much as you can. As much as you can, because the cannabis plant will help the soil and the environment fight radiation and the effects thereof. And I just think it's time that everybody just fucking grab like a few hundred seeds, man. Boom, 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 boom. Go on a trip to Mexico and get some of their shitty seeds. And just fucking, when you're up in your national park in Canada, hiking, or in the United States, just fucking throw handfuls around. Some of them will germinate. It's a law of averages. I did it in Winnipeg. I had access to It was insane. Like when they set up the hemp fields, even if it's hemp seed, that works too. But when they set up the hemp fields, a lot of Manitoba growers got fucked. And a guy, just as a gift, he was like, "Bet you never had one of these before." Gave me the bottom of a Glad garbage bag, like literally, it was a bundle like this of seed from all of the fucking hemp outdoor cross that was happening in Manitoba. Ruined, like so many crops ruined. So I was like, holy crap, that's amazing. I kind of wish I still had them. But because they would have all been very high CBD, because they were Alyssa, which is a hemp that's grown in Manitoba, crossed with Ruderalis based indoor-outdoor hybrids. So there would have been some pretty valuable genetics in there. But what I did is in Winnipeg, we've got a lot of river paths. So I just went on my bike throwing, handfuls of seed, and like some of them were in wads of wet tissue, and I just threw them around everywhere. And later on in the year, down in the riverbank, as I rode my bike, there's like this really kind of rubby area. There's a street called Higgins, and this dirt bike path goes behind there. And a lot of street people and vagrants live back there. So when I was on my ride, I saw a little bed area that this guy had made, and about maybe 10 feet from there were 3 plants like this. So I hope that guy got some weed out of it. Maybe he took care of those plants. I don't know, but I know that some of them germinated just by chance. And if you do that, and we do that everywhere we can, we're gonna win. So let's play this crazy fucking video. I've been rambling and ranting because I'm high on Shyla K and Congolese. And yeah, here we go.
But in the future, every square inch of every city will be alive with intelligence. Because every street and every building will have a network of microcomputers built right into them. Dr. Chris Peaster calls it smart dust.
A smart dust particle, or mote, is a wireless sensor with sensing, computation, communication, and power in one package.
These all-in-one microcomputers will be small, very small.
The size of a mote today is about the size of a grain of rice. And we've shown that we can make the circuitry small enough and light enough that eventually it will be possible to make things that are on a sub-millimeter size scale.
Tiny specks of computer smart dust will form a vast invisible network that can help manage the infrastructure of even the largest city.
Smart cities in the future will take this low-power, inexpensive, small technology and basically distribute it everywhere.
These tiny computers record information about their surroundings, information they can send to other computers or to you. Smart dust on the tracks will monitor your commuter train so you know if it's running late. Potholes will be able to report themselves and warn your car, and you'll never have to wait for a radio traffic report again.
They're monitoring the flow of traffic and giving you alerts about what route is the right way to go to keep the traffic moving.
Bridges will get a coating of smart dust particles that can warn us when they detect stress fractures, helping avoid deadly collapses. But smart dust will also allow buildings and streets to recognize you and respond accordingly.
I think increasingly the environment will respond to who we are and adapt in consequence.
The city will know where you are if you want it to.
Because nanoparticulates are potentially self-replicating, the cost of producing them is actually quite negligible. As for the question as to why the perpetrators would be spraying themselves, well, that answer is in fact a very simple one. These people want transhumanism. In fact, when one truly considers the transhumanist agenda and it begins to sink in that chemtrails seem to consist of nanoparticulates or smart dust, then the last piece of the puzzle falls snugly into place. And it is far from inconceivable that were the global population to be infused with programmable nanoparticulates, then when these tiny machines are switched on, they will simply do what they are programmed to do. And that what this may be may also be largely due to what other genetic codes have first been introduced into the host.
We have more than tripled the numbers of doses of vaccines we're giving our children in the last quarter century.
Up to 15 by the age of 6.
Why are so many highly vaccinated children so sick?
The elites, those who can afford to carry out practices such as chemtrails, generally don't eat processed or genetically altered food. And it is extremely unlikely that they are subject to the same rigorous vaccination regime as the general public. If mankind is indeed ingesting nanoparticulates without their general knowledge, then how might such machines be controlled or switched on? In answer to this question, one only needs to realize that it is now a long-established fact that when anything occurs within the human experience, ultimately the information travels around the body electromagnetically. All our 5 senses, along with any emotional information, is all interpreted by the brain via these electromagnetic signals. Therefore, it is also an established fact that man can be influenced and even controlled via electromagnetism.
Metallic salts have made our air conductive. This means that we and everything around us can transmit and propagate energy. The air is no longer neutral.
I think the smart meter is a very good move for the company, just for the customer aspect. I mean, they can keep more real-time information on a day-to-day basis.
The huge awakening that has been seen in recent times leaves little doubt that mankind and consciousness itself is in a state of evolution. But there also exists compelling evidence suggesting that there are certain forces at work who wish to control the direction this evolution will take.
The second group of materials found in these environmental samples is unidentifiable fibers. And I really want you to appreciate the meaning of unidentifiable. These fibers have been sent to sophisticated laboratories, and there is nothing in the databases that match them. These are fibers, we could say, that do not exist in nature. People around the world are developing lesions on their skin that ooze and produce fibers. This is known as Morgellons syndrome. Tissue samples cultured from ordinary people without this ailment contain and grow the very same fibers. When these fibers are cultured, they produce colonies of filaments. You can see the extension filaments. And these colonies continue to grow and reproduce, branching out into more filaments and more colonies. The filament cultures can be grown from saliva samples, tissue from the skin, mucus, urine, blood, from animals and people, regardless of the presence of the Morgellons condition. So where do these fibers or filaments come from? Airborne environmental samples that were collected by Clifford Carnicom in 2000, the year 2000, gathered at high altitude on a mountain in New Mexico, showed the presence of those fibers, whose structure matches exactly the tubular filaments showing up in our blood, tissues, and skin. Additionally, these samples collected by Mr. Carnicom showed what he calls, and was called in biology, desiccated erythrocytes. This is a multisyllabic term, but it means dried red blood cells. So, why are dried red blood cells in the air?
See, nanocells are real small. 1,000 times smaller than these dust particulates. You inhale it, they go to work, replicating, spreading like a virus, multiplying in exponentials. 6 months' time, I could have 100 million people. Converted, ditch diggers, porn stars, and presidents. Not one would be the wiser. 100 million people who buy what I want them to buy and do pretty much damn well anything I figure they ought to do.
Those unidentifiable filaments, he has observed the formation of red blood cells and submicron-sized structures. So now you've got a filament making its own red blood cells. The engineered cells, the red blood, very, very tough, withstanding excesses of heat and chemicals, indicating that they are designed to endure almost anything. He has put them in a Bunsen flame, he has poured bleach on them, acid, and they still endure. In addition, they are able to replicate, growing outside of the body in a petri dish. This is highly sophisticated technology, going on by itself, not in a laboratory. People with advanced Morgellons syndrome started with fibers coming out of their skin.
You're back.
All right, so, like, that's some fucking scary shit, no? Basically, they want to bioengineer the human into being a subservient sort of biomechanical computer. It's pretty heavy-duty stuff. It goes beyond anything that I ever thought would be a reality. And as you can see, like, there's some serious science that backs it up. So what am I going to do? I'm going to take some tincture right now. This is some of that grapeseed oil tincture that I made. I showed you guys last week on the show. This is how I try to counteract the effects of Morgellons disease. Chaga mushroom, holy basil, cannabis, warlock. We're gonna play another video. This is by a pretty. These guys are they're very they're a very religious based organization, and they have some pretty bang on alternative news. I was really surprised. A lot of times when I come across fundamentalist conspiracy based videos and stuff, they're a little bit out there. But these guys, aside from the religious connotations, and not everybody practices the same religions or agrees with the same point of religious point of view, but I think what we can all agree on is these guys got their finger on the pulse of what's really going on. And the more videos I watched from this organization, the more I realized, holy fuck, these guys got their finger on the pulse. One of the videos I found talked about the LAX shooting. Okay. Now, the guy that was killed was 23 years old. His last name is Ciancia. Okay. C-I-A-N-C-I-A. Okay. Now, yeah, that's coincidence, man. Okay, what's not a coincidence is the chief of police of Los Angeles does this press conference, and there's a couple very serious-looking suits behind him. So he does this press release. This has nothing to do with what I'm about to show, but this is just how on the pulse these guys have their thumb. So they show this press release from the chief of police, and he's talking about this exercise. They've been training this exercise for 3 weeks now, this exact scenario. And we carried out this scenario, you know, to a T, you know, as it was created in training. And like the two suits, the one guy goes and puts his head down, and the other guy just like he's stunned, and then he's like, "Oh no, you're not supposed to say that." So literally, they were practicing. They did dress rehearsals for 3 weeks before they went to this staged event at LAX. And these are false flags. These are events that that the government puts together to tighten their grip of control, so that they can monitor us more, so that they can say, "Hey, man, an innocent cop was shot here." Well, no, a man was sacrificed for the greater plan. Is what happened. He wasn't murdered by a 23-year-old that was a conspiracy kid. He was fucking sacrificed by a group of individuals that figured, hey, if we lose 1 or 2 people, and we can gain control over a few hundred million, that's worth the loss. So that's the message that told, and these guys weren't scared to come out and put it on their channel. So I gotta commend them. This is another chemtrail video. Pay attention to like the 2-minute mark. There's some pretty serious stuff that gets covered.
The warning one?
The warning one,
okay.
Yeah.
Ready to go then.
Okay.
Are you ready? Ready to take a ride? Grab your coffee and strap yourself in, because the show is about to begin.
This is Rev Michelle Hopkins.
You are listening to Omega Man Radio Network with Shannon Davis.
I want to welcome everybody to a live edition of Omega Man Radio. Praise the Lord Jesus Christ. I've got a special treat for you. For the next hour, we're going to give the mic to Reverend Michelle Hopkins. Michelle, and these chemtrails, what is the evidence that you found on this? What is basically going on? What are they spraying, Michelle?
Okay, they just sprayed us a couple months ago with lithium. Okay, they wanted to do so much deployment of lithium that it wasn't enough to do it in airplanes. They needed to get it high enough that they had to do it with rocketry. Okay, they did it right up here just north of us on Wallops Island. NASA sent them up in rockets. They moved them northward out over the ocean and then brought them back over Michigan. Lithium fell down into Lake Michigan and made a bunch of people sick. And these little shiny flakes are all in Lake Michigan now.
Wow.
Yeah.
And we tap into that water supply, don't we, for drinking water?
Exactly.
Lord, have mercy.
Now, we're also, NASA is very proudly using depleted uranium in chemtrails as well. And the reason they're doing it is metamorphosing organic subjects and lifeless or mechanical subjects into a 3-dimensional orga-mechanical hybrid.
My Lord.
Yeah, they're doing that in the air, and we have evidence, visual evidence, that they are spraying it right now, and they've already said they're doing it. So we don't even need the evidence, but yeah, they're doing it. It's part of their program.
Michelle, this is barbaric. Folks, this is as barbaric as the lobotomies that were done to tens of thousands of people in mental institutions, where they would take an ice pick probe and put it right into your eye socket and get in there and sever your brain. You don't believe this? There's videos of them doing lobotomies on helpless subjects that were unable to defend themselves. I'm going to say something else that might shock some people. But I've been studying the connection between sudden infant death syndrome, okay, and the outbreak of autism. And I'm convinced, Michelle, that it's because of the forced vaccinations on the infants, vaccinations that God did not intend. And these children's immune systems are being overwhelmed. Their bodies being overwhelmed with diphtheria, tetanus, pertussis, DTaP, and the rest of the vaccines. They would just want to load you up from the crib, give you everything. I wouldn't be surprised if they're giving children HPV vaccines right now, Michelle.
Yeah, and these things are laced, these vaccinations that people are getting, like orthopedic vaccinations, are laced with things like fungal meningitis.
Oh, man. That makes your brain swell.
Exactly. People are dying from that. And thousands of cases of people that came down with this before they decided to, go after it and stop it.
Michelle, you can take a normal child and jam them in the arm with these vaccinations and turn them into a vegetable.
Yeah.
Folks, it's happening
really
out
tragic.
there. I've known families, their poor child died. And I asked them in a very delicate way, try to inquire, was there vaccines given? And yeah, we gave him vaccines. He died 2 days later, or she died in the crib. And hey, studies have come out in the Lancet Journal of Medicine, and they found a very serious link between those and these cases. And at least for a period of time, they had banned it. The DTP over in England. I don't know if they've reinstated it or not. They may have since, but at least for a time, they abated on it. And then people like Michelle and I talking about these things, and I have to call you a quack and say there's no proof to it. Look at the overwhelming burden of proof out there that shows all the things that the government has been caught red-handed with, folks. They want to give you HPV vaccine because you might be promiscuous later. But the truth of it is it does give you cancer in many cases and injures people's systems. And this is one of the many. They have actual vaccines, Michelle, I've been told, that will give you a chemical lobotomy, basically.
That doesn't surprise me in the least. And one of the people who not only backs this vaccine but puts it out, Bill Gates. Okay,
yes.
Let's look at Bill Gates for just a moment. His father founded Planned Parenthood.
Wow.
Planned Parenthood is all about killing babies. Bill Gates is a purveyor of depopulation. He's very much for human depopulation down to 500 million. He wants less than 500 million people on the earth. Now, what has he done about this? Number one, he has these vaccines that have been taken to Africa, and these African people have been taking these vaccines, and some of them have been forced basically the vaccines on them. And what has been happening is children, by the tens of thousands and now hundreds of thousands, are dropping over with this narcolepsy-like disease, and then they develop this kind of like MS sort of disease or ALS sort of disease very, very quickly, and drop dead by the hundreds of thousands. And other things that are causing people to die from these vaccines. Now the people that are taking the vaccines into these areas, and the people are calling them death vaccines, the people that are going in to give them the vaccines are being attacked and killed because the people don't want to be killed by these vaccines. That's Bill Gates.
There's no question about it. And I believe even worse is being done. I believe that even some of the vaccines, as you mentioned, are basically forced sterilization, right?
Absolutely. I mean, that's part of the name of the game. Stop people from having other people. That's how you depopulate the world. And Bill Gates also has funded chemtrails for many years. He very proudly states that he funds chemtrails. And now he is saying he has a program in which if you fill out a form and pay him the right amount of money, when a typhoon or hurricane is coming your way, he can direct it to a different area and lower its intensity.
Wow.
For you. Yeah, Bill Gates. Mm-hmm.
We're talking weather war modification?
Absolutely.
Folks, this is wicked stuff. Now, let me go a step further, Michelle. You've heard about these giant wasps that are killing people in China, right?
Yes.
Any updates on that? You got any ideas of what's going on?
Well, taking one look at them tells me that they are genetically modified.
Now, they are about as big as your thumb. You know, one guy had several of them in his palm, and he says, you get stung by this, you know, you die, basically. Now, there were some people that were stung and they lived, but what kind of life they're going to have now, because they have a toxin in them, which is like the same stuff it's flesh-eating, like comes out of some of these snakes, where they bite you immediately, it still causes necrosis in the tissue to start to die. And I looked at this picture of this guy's arm. He was stung by these things, and it ate holes right into his skin. It was like acid. Could it be a far stretch to think they could extract the chemical from some of these and put it into injections? You've got no idea what's being put into your body, folks. So there's too much evidence to show that stuff has been contaminated, doesn't work, have particular purposes in mind, as we've mentioned: sterilization, cancer, AIDS, SV40. I'll never let them inject me. Not willingly, at least. They'd have to hold me down, and then I'm going to still fight, Michelle.
You know, I was asked not long ago from my where I get my prescriptions, have you had all your vaccines? Have you had all your shots? My answer was, oh, yes, I've had all my vaccines. Because, you know, and one person looked at me and they said, you just lied. And I said, you know, for something like that, I would lie out my you-know-what. But you know what? I didn't lie. I have had all my vaccines because I am not having any more vaccines.
Well, amen to that. I agree. Now the system is being put in place where can you be put in jail in some cases if you don't vaccinate your children? Have you seen those cases come out?
You know, people are saying that, and you won't be able to get into school until they're vaccinated. You know, the pressure is really being put on parents to have their kids vaccinated. You may not be able to work in certain circumstances without all your vaccines.
There was actually a particular city, I can't recall where, I think it was up northeast. I don't know if it was Maine or Massachusetts, one of those locations. And literally there were parents that were told for their children to enroll, they have to get the vaccines. And they said, we're going to object. You know, religious basis, whatever the objection was. Okay, they were reported to a judge. The judge summoned them all to court and gave them a choice: vaccinate your child or you're going to jail. And literally there was over a dozen or more that were forced to receive the vaccination by a judge. Judges have forced people to get chemotherapy, children against their will, all kinds of horrible things. You know, these judges have become almost like God in a way. Folks, this has become a true police state. And, you know, no longer can you just go about your own business. Now they're trying to hunt you down and kill you. Put nanites into the stream, you know, water supply. This is sick, Michelle.
Yes, it is. And heaven help you if you deign to tell the world about it, if you open your mouth about it. I mean, you come under amazingly vicious attack. And they've done it to me, too. They've stolen my identity and forged personal messages from me on YouTube that I never wrote.
Good grief.
And never received, and made it look like people had sent me messages and I had sent them back messages. and claiming that, threatening these people with my Israeli friends, and I had to laugh because it was obvious that the people who wrote this were either Nazis, Jew-hating Nazis, or Jew-hating Muslims, because they were claiming that I had Israeli friends who were terrorists, and they would hurt these people.
There's certainly a lot of anti-Semitism going on. And you know what? Those people are under a curse already, Genesis 12:3.
That's right. That's absolutely right. And so they did the same thing to Dr. Weld. And in his, they claimed that he admitted that he had hoaxed this whole thing. My attitude toward that has always been, I don't care if Bill Wells was the worst charlatan in the world, and he was either set up to do this, to hoax it, or came up with it himself to hoax it, because I have confirmation this is real. And if the government wanted it hoaxed, it's because they wanted people not to believe it when it came down to it. When the evidence was right there in front of them, they wouldn't believe it because it had been debunked.
This is Rev Michelle Hopkins. Thank you for watching, and God bless you.
Okay.
All right. So, yeah, there's some weird religious connotations and stuff, but the shit they're covering is pretty dead on. So I wanted to play that because it kind of ties in with last week's show and the vaccinations and the tie-in to chemtrailing and how Bill Gates is funding both sides. It's pretty fucking crazy. I don't know if you looked at his eyes. That picture of him with the needle and the little African kids, and he's all like, that's that's a very diabolical look. So Bill, I hope you get what you're wanting in life. More souls, give me more souls. My computers run on souls. So I want to play some Big Sugar. If the doctors are wanting to vaccinate you, just tell them you don't want any sugar in your coffee. Yeah. Fuck off. All right. Yep. That shit makes me mean. I don't want no vaccinations in my coffee, man. So I got another video on chemtrails, and then we're going to get to some more music and stuff. But this one talks about the lithium that they were spraying and how Lake Michigan is now infused with lithium particles. So, yeah. I hope this show's not scaring everybody too much. Because there's no... You can't get away from it. Unless you want to, like, go live underground or just stay in your house with closed air systems, no outside ventilation or anything. And that ain't a way to live. So, yeah, I don't know. Go out and make the best of it. Wear 2 layers, you know. Bring a jacket. I don't know. Wash your clothes as soon as you get home. Infect our rivers and stay away from the fish. Because really, there's seriously no way to get away from it. If you are wearing clothes and you do practice that and you're like, holy fuck, every time I leave the house and come home, I'm going to wash my clothes and new clothes before I go out again and all that shit. All you're doing is you're putting that back into the system, back into the drinking water, back into the swimming water, into the lakes, into the oceans. The fish are eating it. There's no way to get away from it. If a bird eats a fish that's infected, technically the bird will get infected. If a deer eats the bird, then then we have a new species of carnivorous deer. All right, so here we go. This is I don't know, it's about a 10-minute video on lithium and the spraying thereof.
External power. PLC 21, check 124. TD RSO, wind waiting is green, RSO is green.
Copy, TD is green. T-minus 7 minutes and counting. We are go for launch.
This is Rev Michelle Hopkins. Space.com reported that NASA launched 2 small rockets from Virginia's eastern shore on the 4th of July. Here they are taking off from NASA's Wallops Flight Facility. Here's the facility on Google Earth, and I will leave the coordinates in the description. Here we have the 2 rocket launchers and the corresponding antenna. One of these rockets delivered a huge quantity of lithium into our atmosphere.
Within a degree of the B field.
In FEMA Region 3.
ACS off.
Here we see the 2 different rocket trails as they went up. This one did have the lithium and deployed its payload.
Payload deploy.
As you see here. All of these red dots are payload deployment. This is all lithium. Now NASA claims that the reason why they had a joint project with Japan was that they were showing Japan how lithium is used in the atmosphere to aid in the use of frequency for communications and military purposes. That lithium deployment was directed northeastward, and you may be able to see some of the undulations here. Then it was turned westward and then directed in a southerly direction. And as you can see, NEXRADs and satellites are spiking the entire area of FEMA Region 3 from Maine all the way down to North Carolina. Lithium is a soft silver-white metal, the lightest metal and the least dense solid element. Like all alkali metals, lithium is highly reactive and flammable. Lithium exhibits a metallic luster because of its high reactivity and is therefore highly reactive to electromagnetism that can be created by frequency. In fact, the nuclei of lithium is prized for its instability. Lithium never occurs freely in nature. Instead, it only appears in compounds which are ionic. Lithium-6 deuteride serves as a fusion fuel in staged thermonuclear weapons. Lithium and its compounds have several industrial applications, including heat-resistant glass, ceramics, and lithium batteries. Let's see if this doesn't sound familiar to you. Contact with moist air corrodes lithium's surface quickly to a dull silvery gray, then black tarnish. And because of this, it is useful only for a short time as a conductive metal that falls upon the population below in the form of a mind-altering compound called lithium carbonate. And lithium is constantly being used to fortify artificially conductive skies. That is why, when used in chemtrails, lithium's use is very temporary, resulting in a dingy, gray, worthless chemdross. Lithium carbonate is commonly used as a mood-stabilizing drug in the treatment of bipolar disorder. And here is where it gets interesting. Here's how it affects you and me. Lithium carbonate is commonly used as a mood-stabilizing drug in the treatment of bipolar disorder, particularly of mania in depression. Those subjected to lithium, some side effects include an overall dazed feeling, a fine tremor in the hands and body, nephrogenic diabetes insipidus, nausea and headache, unbalanced electrolytes. Hypothyroidism is 6 times greater with the introduction of lithium, which in turn increases the likelihood of developing clinical depression. Lithium is known to be responsible for weight gain. Lithium causes birth defects in newborn babies. This is an alert. Overdose may be fatal. Lithium toxicity manifestations include nausea, vomiting, diarrhea, breathlessness, ataxia, which is a disturbance of the equilibrium or spatial orientation, and gait, confusion, lethargy, seizures and coma, tremor, muscle twitching, convulsions and renal failure, and cerebellar dysfunction. This is an additional alert. Lithium is corrosive, and it requires special handling to avoid skin contact. And these people are releasing it into our atmosphere over us. Breathing lithium dust or lithium compounds, which are often alkaline, initially irritate the nose and throat. Well, I know you've been feeling that. While higher exposure can cause a buildup of fluid in the lungs, which is happening to me, leading to pulmonary edema. The metal itself is a handling hazard because of the caustic hydroxide produced when it comes into contact with moisture. Caustic because, as a corrosive substance, lithium will destroy and damage other substances with which it comes into contact, most especially living tissue.
4, 3, 2, 1, 0, plus 1, 2, 3, 15. And the Jerry approved the wrong on the signal of the Black Bear 5 payload, which means it has impacted into the Atlantic Ocean. Payload deployed.
Within a degree at the B field.
Nest separation. Doors 41.
ACS off.
Right, take counts 1 through 4. Oh, that's TM3. Looks like we lost modulation on TM1. Sphere deployed.
Computer PM on 1.
Go.
Raj, when you get a chance, if you could please give us the apogees of both vehicles and impact locations.
Motorists in Alabama's St. Clair and Bibb counties were required to go through nighttime checkpoints at several locations on May 31st and June 1st, where police officers requested blood and DNA samples on what was called a voluntary basis. Cars were stopped at random as part of a study conducted by the Pacific Institute for Research and Evaluation on behalf of the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration.
We've got good sine waves on the electric field. VI copies.
Re-entry.
21 voltage of the current's nominal.
WinMac registered all 3 triggers.
Motor has burned out. Checked it. IMS turbo pump on. One minute. D-spin. Payload set. Nose cone deploy on the 21.
Blackbear 5, nose code set. Payload deploy. Within a degree of the B field.
Nose cone separation. Doors.
This is Rev Michelle Hopkins. Thank you for watching, and God bless you.
And also betrayals by guys like Chemtrail who fucking...
But all I've ever done is support Neil.
No, I know.
Like, you're back.
Hi! I'm high. Bubbleman just showed up. Shauna just showed up and her phone's ringing. She's rocking and rolling.
Hello?
And you gotta let her out. She's got some pretty red shoes. She's going to the studio to sing on a hip-hop record.
Yeah, she looks like she just came out of the movie Flashdance.
She did.
With her red shoes and
she was
leg warmers.
Yeah. She was just in a time
Has
machine.
she been borrowing my time machine again? Oh man.
Apparently so. So lithium. That's fucked up, isn't it? Isn't that crazy shit? Be careful. There's a huge world agenda. I mean, really be careful. Who fucking... there's nothing you can do about it. So really just live your life accordingly. Have as much fun as you can, because your time is fucking limited. So be decadent and enjoy it. Let's play... let's play that mashup. Yeah, the Bubba O'Reilly thing.
Got it.
All right.
I got something for you for a future reference that you'll want to share with your audience.
We'll do it next week.
Korean chick playing this Korean instrument, traditional. She's jamming Voodoo Child, Jimi Hendrix. It's insane.
Korean chick jamming Voodoo Child on a Korean thing.
Like a traditional.
Yeah, those harps.
I'll play the video because they can't hear you.
So. Yeah, so we're gonna rock this video, and I don't know. I wanted to play Bob O'Reilly, but I found a bunch of different versions. Then I was gonna play the Dropkick Murphys version, and then I found this version, and I figured, although it's not quite Bob O'Reilly, It's got, I don't know. It's a great fucking version. It's a good mashup. It's very clever.
All right, here goes.
I actually thought you put the video on right away.
No.
Like when you said I'm gonna put this video on, and I saw him move stuff, I was like, okay, now I can say this. I got it.
I've never seen a diamond in the flesh. I cut my teeth on wedding rings in the movie. I'm not proud of my dress. In the torn up town, no postcode envy, but every song's like gold teeth, grey goose dripping in the bathroom, bloodstains, ball gowns, trash in the hotel room. We don't care. We're driving Cadillacs in our dreams. Crystal, Maybach, diamonds on your timepiece, jet planes, islands, tigers on a gold leash. We don't care. We aren't caught up in your love affair. And we will never be royals. It's more in our blood. The Cadillacs just ain't for us. We crave a different kind of buzz. That may be your ruler. You can call me Queen Bee, and I'll rule. Let me live that fantasy. Teenage wasteland. Teenage wasteland. Teenage wasteland. Teenage wasteland. My friends and I, we cracked the code. We count our dollars on the train to the party, and everyone who knows us knows we're fine with this. We didn't come from money, but every song's like gold tooth, grey goose tripping in the bathroom, bloodstains, ball gowns, trash in the hotel room. We don't care. We're driving Cadillacs in our dreams. Everybody's like Crystal, Maybach, diamonds on your timepiece, jet planes, islands, tigers on a gold leash. We don't care. We aren't caught up in your love affair. And we will never be royals. It's a run in our blood. The Cadillacs just ain't for us. We crave a different kind of buzz. Let me be your ruler. You can call me Queen Bee, and I'll rule. Let me live that fantasy. Teenage wasteland. Teenage wasteland. Teenage wasteland. Teenage wasteland.
We're back and we're not frozen? We're pretty much back.
We're pretty much back, dude.
I don't even know what that means.
We're back.
We're partially back.
Your mic because it's blocking out his face.
Oh.
I can put it right there.
How about that? What do you say, Ray? We got Ray in the house. We got Bubbleman in the house. We got Shauna in the house. Marius, man in the stations.
Excellent.
So you just came from the dentist, eh?
I did.
Pleasant experience?
You know what? My dentist is awesome. I gotta say, they're good, really good dentists. They're. I've only gone and seen them twice in the last 20 years.
Clinic a plug?
What's that?
Do you want to give their clinic a plug?
Well, why not? It's Dr. Stacy Ross on Broadway.
There you go.
Yeah, she's awesome. She just
tell her Bubbleman sent you.
Absolutely. She definitely commented on my shirt. She was like, "Yeah, let's get that guy out. What the heck?"
Fuck yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah. So now back to puffing and sessioning.
So we're talking about chemtrails today. You're up in the mountains all the time in the middle of nowhere and stuff. Do you ever see fucking weird shit like that?
Do I ever see weird shit like that? I could get my friend Joan Lemmer, who used to work on the Rainbow Warrior, longtime activist. She's probably in her late 60s now. She records them all the time in Lions Bay. Because in Lions Bay, it's completely beautiful, right? And then the sky, you'll just get 1, 2, 3, 4 chemtrails that go by one way, and then they go by the other way.
An X pattern.
Yeah, they do. Well, they do like a
Grid?
It ends up looking like a grid, like a tic-tac-toe. But then what happens is they all dissipate and completely take the blue sky and turn it into a gray day. And it's happened probably this summer. It probably happened like 100 times.
So what? One of the things that that they talked about in a video that we played is those grid patterns. What they're doing is they're spreading these nanocells basically.
Right. Yeah. Particles.
It's smart dust. And now
Yeah.
what the smart dust is doing is it's coating
That's what they're saying.
the whole fucking landscape, all the buildings, us, everything, and it's forming a network of these microscopic organic-based computers. And eventually cities will have the technology of intercommunication, like the city will communicate with itself.
Right.
You know what I mean? And people will communicate through this grid of nanoparticles.
That's interesting.
It's pretty fucked up. They showed some pretty compelling science.
I think it definitely has a lot to do initially with weather and trying to control the weather.
Yeah.
Because it's a very powerful thing to be able to just be like, you have an enemy. It's one thing to send a bunch of soldiers into a country, but
Bill Gates
hit them with a tsunami.
Bill Gates actually has a service that he provides to countries.
Yeah.
And if you are in danger of experiencing a hurricane or a tsunami or something, you can hire his agency. And what they will do is they do weather deflection and redirection.
Oh.
And they'll actually protect your region.
Well, hopefully he's got his company working hard at Fukushima right now because if number 4 goes into the ocean, we're all done. Goodbye, West Coast.
Fukushima just got, there's like a huge...
well, if they get another 7.0, they think, they're pretty sure that it's going to break
there's a typhoon
into...
headed that way.
Yeah, well, if they get an earthquake, that chunk is going to break off into the ocean. And if it does, it's something like 14,000 times more plutonium than like the Hiroshima bomb.
Yeah, and Chernobyl
It's
as
freaky.
well.
Yeah, it's freaky. So,
Yeah.
and then just the idea that
Well,
the West
what
Coast
they're doing
would
is
be,
they're trying to create Godzilla.
Yeah,
It's just the CGI shit's not cutting it anymore, so they want the real deal.
I guess so.
Yeah,
man,
they're gonna set up an amusement park.
It's creepy shit. If you ever have seen the photograph of the elephant's foot, which is the plutonium rods that melted into this massive chunk that just weighs this insane amount of metric tonnage. You can take they took one picture of it with a machine that eventually, I guess, melted and just getting near this thing to get the photo. But you look at the photo of the elephant's foot. It's just this chunk of plutonium all melted into an elephant's foot. And man, is it a creepy, ominous. You can actually see radioactive particles all in the air in the picture. Yeah, it's pretty heavy shit. And think about that was like how many years ago?
Yeah, I know, man. Shit's really, really hitting the fan on an environmental level.
Absolutely.
So, I want to play some Captain Beefheart.
Oh, can't go wrong with Captain Beefheart.
Nope.
And on that note, Zappa does Zappa.
Yeah,
Dweezil Zappa's coming back January.
Yeah, Roxy and Elsewhere, 40th anniversary.
It's going to be great.
Yeah, that is going to be great.
Saw him last time.
That's one of my favorite Mother's albums is Roxy and Elsewhere.
Nice.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Hey Garland, I dig your tweed coat.
Hey Garland.
Hey Garland, I dig your tweed coat. Such a great fucking poem. So this is how I feel sometimes.
Sometimes.
Hey, Garland, I dig your tweed coat. I'll trade you a domino this size, mothball scented. The woman soaked new tie painting his chest. One celluloid stay exposed through his nibbled collar. Feet speckle the sidewalk, faces gurgle through windows. Passing cars gum rubber streaks. Neon plants swim like green seaweed to a deep rhythm of blues. Red thyroid sunsets flame in speckled chemistry. Pipes run off dark tubes. Erase into marks that pour the dye of darkness. Crystal comes together as silent as ink. I don't think I could let it go. I got it at the religious scene. Teeth let go, tobacco juice, an oil balloon, brown eye and an egg white, black tar bubbles and stripes. A straw hat squeaks on the brim of a feather. Newsprint thumbed through nicotine fingers. A dark olive was turned on. Its small, pulp speakers burst into a scream. One large tomato was immediately peeled, skin red. It bled into a red O and smacked behind accepted fangs. Quick eyebrows danced cutely above a mole. The bridge held a large gold pair of spectacles. The front was smooth. It gradually gathered and wrinkled at the holes. A dark wooden mustache deposited below, above Chinese red varnished lips that dented slightly into the evening. It's gotten quite cold. I've decided I can't sell you my coat. Honking, the wind puffed into the clumps above the lattice rose. In outlook Panatella, naked and not ashamed, without no clothes. Wiggle Pig went snout first into a tree. The rubber turkey was gobbled up by the night's dark rubber mouth. In a white phosphorus raindrop dropped in the sky. Hot silhouettes in a convertible gave this applause. In several white porcelain trays were rolled in by bumblebees. Their wings arranged with pictures out of the past. And the rainbow baboon gobbled 15 fish eyes with each spoon. Pockets was caught at window level. Approaching the fractured glass, dripping in light, he spoke. I just looked at myself, and from here to there, it ain't far enough. But from here to here, it's too short. In circles don't fly, they float. Pina exclaimed and went on to say, sun sure did shine this year. Who'd you look like underneath?
To protect that thing. Wow, that was cool.
It was loud.
That was like being in a vacuum.
It was.
Ray had a torch going, and it was like.
Because you couldn't even kind of tell it was on.
No,
until
I
she
didn't
stopped
realize it was on, and it was as that was like Marius is like 10 seconds.
We're on in 10.
And it was like it took about 10 seconds to happen, and then it was like we're back. So cool.
That was good.
Yeah,
I think
it
it helped
was.
that we're super baked.
It did help.
But whatever.
So hey, Garland, I dig your tweed coat.
Excellent.
Yeah, it is excellent. Let's play that 6-minute video.
The 6-minute video, got it.
Yeah, from the camera.
Right, it'll take a couple seconds to...
Okay, so this is a continuation because Enrico didn't have his phone recording. we had to film the dab from the slab a second time.
Ooh, dab from the slab.
So this is my second attempt, and I feel I did a lot better at this attempt. I wasn't as restricted of a sitting position. I was more chilled, laid back.
Is it about taking a huge rip or something?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You're still setting it up.
Yeah, they've got access, or somebody that's affiliated with Eden has access to research grade butane without the mercaptans.
N-butane, you mean?
Well, see, even Calibri and stuff like that contains N-butane.
No, but Calibri also contains propane.
Exactly.
N-butane pure is medical grade butane.
This is 3.8. They might even have 4.0.
I have a question. Do they have a medical grade chemist running it?
Yeah, apparently, yeah.
PhD type of thing,
Like
or really he knows chemistry? Because this is my
Well,
problem with a lot
this,
of these
thi-
guys.
This I'm not quite sure of, but I do know that somebody had some edibles from them.
Right.
And the edibles were made with some of this lab grade butane.
N-butane.
And what the guy that had the edibles was saying was that there was 0.008 grams of THC per bite.
Right.
Which means, they're measuring in hundredth of a gram.
Right.
Right. So as some just Joe wouldn't be doing that.
Yeah. Well, you'd be surprised. A lot of these kids that are doing it on Facebook and stuff, they're in their teens and early 20s. And they're all obsessed with getting it tested in a professional lab by a chemist to tell them how clean it is. And I say to them, why wouldn't you get it made by the chemist in the professional lab? Who cares about the testing? Your bioassay will test it for you. Just know that a chemist in a lab made it.
Well,
Yeah,
this
get
is
the right
this
guy.
is
Get
this
the
is
right-
kind of
or
like the
girl.
Heisenberg of butter or of shatter, I would say.
Well, I would say-
it's the only stuff that I'll embrace when somebody offers it and they say, "Hey, man, I've got some of this fucking
right
N-tane from."
I look
Eden."
forward to the days when it's just lab accessible, when kids
Yeah,
aren't
for
doing
sure.
it anymore. Because really, in my opinion, it was the first thing to come into cannabis that really was like, before the DEA would just lie about cannabis and all the things that cannabis did, but now it was just like, all they had to do was be like, stupid fucking retard couple blows themselves up with kid in the room, blah, 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 and they just talk them down, but it's like, have some compassion. They're still people. They might have made
Yeah.
a mistake, but I make mistakes. I hope not to make a mistake.
Man,
that
I
burns
used to use
myself for the
isopropyl
rest of
when
my
we made
life.
oil back in the day. And
Stick to your moonshine.
we just about blew shit up.
Wouldn't you say? Like if you were going to tell
Oh,
someone
yeah.
out there, if you want to make oil,
Yeah, you use
stay away
you
from
use great
dangerous,
alcohol
heavy
and,
solvents.
and get access to zeolite because your grain alcohol won't come 99%. So
Unless
get
you make
access to zeolite. No, it's very hard to make 99% even from a still.
Right, but you can.
Again, you want to go to a guy
The
that's
professional.
like a chemist.
Exactly, yeah.
So then you can just buy it. So that's my
Exactly.
point. So
You can.
But it's hard for the layman to gain access to that. But we can all get Everclear, stuff like that. So what you do is you gain access to just regular consumption grade grain alcohol, which is usually between 94 and 96%, and you get zeolite. I'll get the exact recipe for next week's show. You add zeolite to it. What zeolite is a desiccant, and that soaks up the water. And you pour it through coffee filters, and then you have 99% ethanol. And then you start your cooking with that. Low temperature, even no temperature, just let it sit overnight, and it'll evaporate almost all of it. And then you can just do a slow cook on a little bit of steam to get
So much safer than
yeah,
butane.
way safer,
Oh
way
my
safer.
goodness.
So we're gonna play this video, and this is part 2 of the dab from the slab, and I don't know. I think I'm gonna vape some Warlock.
Yes. Magus Genetics.
Yep.
Hey motherfuckers, Enrico's a stoner and he forgot to press record on his camera, so I'm taking one for the team and I'm gonna do another dab from the slab. So this is a double dab from the slab. Look at that stone fucker. Stone fucker.
With Keegan here from the
He's a stone motherfucker.
dab from the slab because we actually the first time we ever did the dab from the slab was at the Kush Cup. So we got together tonight and we wanted to do it again. Fuck, I can't speak anymore. Press record. So we're gonna do it again. So dab from the slab.
He's a stoner. Look at that.
I'm wasted.
I didn't get that on camera, so you're lucky.
Alright. This is how it's gonna
Oh, that's perfect angle.
This is how it's gonna happen.
Okay, so I'm gonna take one for the team, and this is round 2. I was kind of uncomfortable before, so I think.
Oh, there you go.
I'm gonna sit. I was all like.
I agree with you. Discomfort of that.
Yeah. All right. Hang on, let me adjust Rico's camera here a little bit.
Thank you, sir. Sir, yes, sir.
All right, we're good to go.
And butane.
This is Canatonic for the record, and it's an extract made with 3.8 N-butane, which if you're going to use butane, in my opinion, is the only one you should be using. If you don't have access to it, oh well, use grain alcohol. Get some zeolite and turn it into fucking 99%.
Yeah. Let's do this.
One person using this stuff too, and that's Dab City Labs.
All right.
Oh, nice. Good setup, guys. Wow. Wow.
Oh, yeah.
This is ridiculous. This is ridiculous.
Wow.
Damn.
I'm a motherfucking dragon.
Yes, sir, you are. Keegan, a little small one for you? Yes, sir. How can you say no?
Thanks a lot, brother.
Thanks.
You're very
wow.
generous.
Yeah. Oh, I'm going to go back here. There you go, Al.
Would you?
I mean, I'm not only talking about taste.
So that was my second round.
Wait,
Very, very strong. Very strong. It's again, my body temperature's up. I got a fucking a little bit of a sweat going on. Yeah, very good extract. I apologize. Just a screen. I feel like I should be going to blow my nose.
That's how it's screen.
Yeah, that was good. I'm good? All right.
He's good.
Wow, there's a lot of restriction right now.
Is there?
Yeah, tons of restriction. Yeah.
Well,
They're having technical difficulties.
let's take the screen out. We may have to cut. Oh no, we're doing this fucking real time.
There you go. No more restriction for sure, sir. Try this, let me know.
Wow, my arms are fucking sweating like crazy.
We good? Good. Perfect. Alright, I'm gonna take a smaller dab from the slab here. Still will be a dab from the slab.
That's a good one. Round two was good.
Amazing. Jack brought it back up. Alright, so.
Alright, Rico's going.
I'll try do this, I die, and then you keep on subbing me. Oh. Shit. This is winterized. Beautiful, beautiful. Beautiful stuff. Bye now. It's running like I got a little fucking.
Oh, there's Kleenex right there. Wicked.
Wow, that would have been funny.
little mucus yo-yo.
Oh, fuck, that would have been funny. Shit. Anyway, subculture. Thank you. And now, thank you very much.
Take care, motherfuckers. All right, I'm out.
And it's hard for me to go online and.
We're back.
Yes.
All right.
Plastic bong.
You don't like your plastic bong?
No, I was saying it's hard for me to go online and hit a plastic bong.
And that plastic hose?
I hit it.
How come you don't have it in a piece of glass?
I do. I don't even. Well, my units haven't worked for a while. I was lazy and didn't send them back, and I've got to.
Oh fuck! I think I actually have a unit at the Sublipad.
And there you go. So usually when Enrico gives one to someone to give me, naturally they forget.
Yeah.
But they remember. Yeah. Usually.
Well, he only left 2 days ago, so.
Exactly. That's not bad, actually. Compared to like the 11-year one we had. Or was it 16 years?
It was a long time.
It was a long time. I love them.
Yeah, that was a fucking wicked bottle of Bulbous, though.
Dude, honestly, It was worth it, I'm telling you. That
Olbus saved his life.
I used to suffer migraine headaches, and so I see Al one day, and I'm like, "Hey, dude, how's it going?" Hadn't seen him in a while, and he's like, "Here, you gotta have this. This is like amazing stuff for your headaches." It was a debt or whatever that it was fine. It got all worked out, but the old boss was kind of like, "Here, have this for now." And funny enough, man, the relief that fucking bottle of Old Boss brought me, man, like I would have paid 3 times for that bottle of Old Boss. I didn't know about the product.
It wasn't even.
It didn't cure me. But when you got pressure headaches and putting a little bit of that eucalyptus oil on the temples, that was good.
It fucking helps a lot.
It did.
And same with the
in the back of the neck, yeah. Yeah, no doubt. Everyone's like, Old Boss, what the fuck are they talking about?
So we're gonna play this out. Let's play that short video, the camera video, and then we'll play Alabama Thunder Pussy. Okay, so we're pretty much out of time. Gonna play a little short video I made before I left the house this morning.
Ah, yes.
This is me smoking that very, 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 very old Afghani hash.
Very old Afghani hash.
Yeah.
How old?
30 plus.
Mm-hmm.
Romeo and Juliet.
Nice.
Yeah. From
Romeo and Juliet.
Like from when we were kids.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll tell you the story off camera.
I get. I have friends in Amsterdam who have traveled. They were in Afghanistan from like '69 to '71, and they also have some pretty ancient.
It's different, eh?
It's neat. We use it as a screen each year at the Legends of Hash Party when we use the Hubble Bubble, which are the same pipes they were hitting actually 100 years ago. We have those at the party, and we usually just like we take this big patty of this old Afghani and we stick holes with a toothpick, and it's our screen. That's for all awesome. The full melt and all the.
Well, I'll tell you the
hit
I did before I left the house. I was so fucking rocked. I was fumbling shit. I was like,
wow, eh?
Like literally
something different.
Speed racer. So this is it, and then we're gonna play the show out with Hymn 43. It's a Jethro Tull cover by Alabama Thunder Pussy. And I want to say thanks to everybody for tuning in to Class in Session. Thanks for all your emails. You can hit me up at classinsession666@gmail.com. Dr. Clone, sorry to hear about your situation. Dr. Clone got misdiagnosed, and the doctors are now fucked. So he's going to try to come out to the show next week and talk about the medical system and what a kerfuffle it can be. Yeah, 307 West Hastings, come and buy a bong. Come upstairs, smoke it to the... yeah, I don't know. I'm stoned. I'm rambling, trying to say my thank yous, and that's it. Thank you. We're out. Actually, no, we're not. We're out for this video, then we're back, and then we're out.
Oh. We'll do some more rambling.
Yeah, I'll do some more rambling in a second. That was actually a waste of time, what just happened.
We'll be back with Rambling Al. In just a few minutes.
Hey, motherfuckers, what's going on? Just want to do something special here. Something I keep on my altar.
Career training for today's jobs.
This is some hash that was given to me by an old friend of mine who did some serious stuff in the 70s and 80s. And this hash is approximately 30 years old. I'm going to do a hit of this. There's my cab outside. I'm on my way to the show. Hello.
2020. The call is free. The advice is free.
All right. So, I smoke this stuff once a year.
Any kind of accident, the Lawyers Group is waiting for your call. Call 1-800-677-2020.
It's Wild Turkey Wednesday with Iron Chef Mario Vitale. Got this crispy, super dough.
Oh boy, that's hard.
And he's dressing his word Italian style. Next Richard.
Tomorrow at 10 on My TV 38. Hey, Big Bang fans, here's your chance to win the gift that keeps on giving. The complete 6-season Blue.
Where's my lighter? All right, I should have probably done this a little earlier, but here goes.
Enter at mytv38.com for your chance to win. Are you the victim of a scam? Go to judgejudy.com. or call 1-888-800-JUDY.
Now, how could he turn title over to him, Miss Ross, if he had no driver's license? I wrote out a bill of sale for him, and I guess in the state of Florida, you can title over without a license. Did he title the car? As far as I know, when I called the Department of Motor Vehicles, they said it was not titled in my name anymore. They could not give me any more information on that. In whose name did you title the car?
Monica's name.
In Monica's name?
Yeah, because she has a license. I don't.
But
Oh my God.
Your Honor, when we did do whatever we did, it was in his.
That's good fucking hash.
Listen to me, Miss.
All right, so yeah, I just wanted to share that with you guys. It was a spontaneous thing on my way out of the house. And this is Alabama Thunder Pussy with Hymn 43, a song from Jethro Tull, and it's a fucking wicked version. And thanks for watching this show. Your emails are awesome. Keep them coming.
Yeah.